Guys, listen, there has never been a better time than now to make money online. AI has completely shifted the game for a few reasons. There's a lot of new problems that are arising. And quite frankly, I think most people are terrified of AI because you realize that the role that you're in now, the job that you're in, that college degree that you've been working on is just not going to be as relevant now because AI is taking over and changing the workplace quite a bit. And I've talked about this in a previous video. You spent 10, 15, 20, 30 years becoming a master at something. Then all of a sudden people can use AI to service themselves. And I'm not going to get too far into how you can leverage that in this video because I want to talk today about the opportunities that are out there. And I want to showcase a couple different business ideas that are leveraging AI and have just exploded like crazy. And I want us to think about this. We'll get into those specific businesses in a moment, but I want us to think about how can we leverage AI to solve interesting problems? Because there are going to be a ton of new problems that arise because of AI, whether it's depression or whether it's education or relationships. There's going to be so many. And before we get into again that, there's a lot to cover here today, boys. But what I want to think about is how can I come up with an idea and create a minimum viable product so I can start testing it and trying to solve these interesting problems. Because what AI is going to allow you to do is scale and move fast, so quickly. You're going to be able to put out I talked about this in a previous video. I was able to put out a children's reading app, kind of like for homeschool parents, so that you can kind of teach your kids how to read, write book reports, leverage AI to grade the book reports and give feedback. And so far, it's been really good. I was able to put out a minimum viable product in a week. It still needs a lot of work because I mean it just needs a lot of work. But nevertheless, I'm able to put out an MVP, able to test it, able to put it in hands of people very quickly, give feedback, tweak, and then decide if this is something you really want to double down, triple down, quadruple down on. You know, something that I found in talking to successful business owners. In my After Hours Entrepreneur, I've done about 500 interviews with tons and tons of entrepreneurs, business owners, millionaires, billionaires even. But one of the things that I found consistently is that your first idea is not going to be your $1 million idea or your 10 million or $100 million idea. Sometimes you have to kick tires. You have to try different things in order to get there. And so you kind of want to find those failure points as quickly as possible. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm considering when I'm using AI to develop programs. And specifically, I've been spending a lot of time using Replit because it writes code. And I'm not a code writer. I just want to test stuff. I want to kind of get my hands in there. I want to test ideas. So Replit is, if you can come up with a good idea, Replit is a fantastic way of building out that idea quickly, building out a minimum viable product, your MVP, testing it, and then if it's got wheels, okay, now it's time to double down, maybe look at raising some capital, maybe look at hiring more advanced developers to really double down on the idea, where you go out and sell the idea, build the vision, etc. That's at least that's where my game plan is. That's where my head's at. So again, I want to encourage you to find these gaps. And so again, before we go into specific businesses that I think are really interesting and should be highlighted, I want to talk about, again, a couple core concepts. So we've talked about using AI to get to market very quickly. But now we need to talk about, well, how do we find interesting ideas? And one of the ideas I talked about in a previous video was the idea of swimming versus surfing. Okay, so if you go swimming in the ocean, you're going to be putting out, I don't know, let's say you put out you burn 300 calories in the course of an hour or in the course of a half hour just playing in the ocean. But if there's a tsunami, multiply that by 1 billion. The amount of calories the amount of energy that's produced is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of energy that's produced by a tsunami. You're not going to swim against a tsunami. So you can think of AI and actually platforms as a tsunami, okay? But what's interesting when a tsunami happens is, what do the surfers do? Everybody else is running. They're like terrified. They're running away. This is what the majority of people are doing right now. They're terrified of AI. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to look at it. But what do the surfers do? The surfers they wax up their board and they go right to the waves, because that's where the best waves are. They go towards the tsunami. That's where the sick waves are. They got their jet skis pulling them. And just to kind of bring this analogy all the way around here for you, we want to be surfing right now, guys. We want to be surfing and leveraging tools like ChatGPT, like Meta, like HubSpot, like Salesforce, like WordPress. Just think about all these different softwares that are huge. They're ubiquitous. If you think about a particular industry, and I want to talk about industry 2 here in a moment, but when you think about particular industries, there's going to be certain softwares and technologies and brands that are ubiquitous, that everybody knows, that everybody uses. If you try to compete directly with that brand, that's like swimming in a tsunami. It's going to be so difficult. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's going to be a much longer cycle. There's going to be much heavier competition. You're going to be fighting. It's going to be war. And you're just going to have a hard time competing with the resources that those companies have. If you're a small startup trying to compete with a $100 million company, or Meta, a $1.7 billion company, or $1 trillion company market cap, you just $1.7 trillion market cap. Sorry, got my numbers confused there, but you're just not going to win that fight. You've got what, $10,000, $100,000 that you want to put into your project. You're not going to be able to compete. So you're not going to be able to swim against that. But you might be able to ride that wave. You might be able to surf. And those, my friends, those are the businesses that we want to be creating now, leveraging AI and software. We want to be creating surf businesses, okay? So I'll give you an example. I think about Alex Becker. He's the founder of Hyros. And what Hyros does is it's a piece of code that you put into your website and into your Facebook ads to help them just get you a much better return. So he's not trying to create a whole new ad platform. He's just saying, you're already running ads. Buy our software, plug it into your code, and it's going to 10x your results. And if it doesn't, I'll give you your money back. It's an offer so good you would feel stupid saying no. So that's an example. I'll give you some more examples. But you might be thinking here, Mark, that sounds good, but I don't really know where to start. So where I'm starting, what I'm thinking about is, and I don't want to go too deep into this because I really want to highlight a couple other really cool businesses. We talked about Hyros. I want to talk about another couple cool businesses. But this all starts with human problems. And I'm thinking about, with the rise of AI, with the rise of all this new technology, with the craziness that's going on in the world, what are the new human problems that are going to be produced? They're basically going to come down to one of 5 different categories, maybe multiples, but really you want to focus on one of 5 different categories. Those categories are health, wealth, relationships, status, and purpose. At the end of the day, every human problem essentially is going to come from this. So let's just kind of break this down a bit. Okay, you look at health. That's pretty obvious. Fitness, eating well, you feel good, you've got mobility. Okay, so there's one. Wealth, it's pretty obvious. You want to make more money. Okay, stocks, bonds, insurance, et cetera, et cetera. Relationships, you want to find a wife, you want a girlfriend, maybe you feel lonely. We're in a world now where a lot of people are feeling lonely. Relationships. Status. How am I seen when I walk into a door, walk into a room? Do people respect me? Does my wife respect me? All my fellas out there, smash that like if you want to feel respected by your wife. So respect, and then purpose or meaning, and that's more on the spiritual lines of things. What happens? Do I feel right with God? Do I feel that I have, what I'm doing has some sort of purpose, that people care about what I'm doing? I'm not just showing up and pushing buttons, but I'm actually doing something that has purpose. This is one of the things that Elon is great at, by the way, is creating a vision or a mission that people get behind. So anyway, you want to focus in on problems. Where I'm at right now, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, but where I'm at right now is I think about, what are the new types of problems that people are facing in these types of arenas? What is the total market cap? How big is the problem? And how can I leverage AI to quickly find interesting solutions? And I don't want to solve all of the problems, but I want to find like one problem within that. So again, that's where I came up with the idea of this reading app for homeschool parents, or not even necessarily for homeschool, but specifically for Christian homeschool parents. You want your kid to read, you want them to grow in faith, you want them to develop the right worldview. Here are books we recommend. You can buy them on Amazon. They'll write book reports. They'll give you feedback, and you can kind of incentivize your kids to read because they're going to get feedback and they're going to get rewards that you've selected. So that's one idea. I'm working on another idea, which I'm going to cover here in just a moment. So let's just kind of briefly recap. Great opportunity. We want to surf, not swim. We got to lean into the fear. We want to build minimum viable products within one of those 5 categories quickly to test it to see if it has wheels. And if it has wheels, we double down, triple down, quadruple down. If it doesn't, then we maybe scrap it or save it for later. Okay. So now that we've gotten kind of these core fundamentals, let's talk for just a moment and let's get down to some businesses that are incredibly successful and have been incredibly successful at doing this and are only going to grow. And then I'll give you another business that I'm working on as well. And again, I love Replit for building software. It's very quick, it's easy, and you can get your MVP out there quickly. Again, I had an MVP out in 8 days. Nuts. It cost me almost nothing. I didn't need to hire a software developer. I didn't need to take classes to learn to code. MVP out in 8 days, crazy. So, and by the way, those were not full days. Those are working, 3 or 4 hours a night, just watching the hockey game. Go Cats, just watching the hockey game and just kind of sitting with my wife on the couch and just playing with the tool. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about a few different businesses. So one business that came on my radar was this business called CalAI, and I heard about this on My First Million. Basically, the founder of this is making $20 million a year, just destroying it. And what does the app do? You take a picture of your food before you eat it, and it will tell you approximately the nutritional value, calories, sodium, sugar, all that stuff. And what's remarkable to me about this, it's just so simple. It's so genius. It's just so smart. And it's not going to be precise, but if you've ever tried to count calories before, if you have like a notebook or a program you have to type in, it's exhausting. You're never going to type in all your calories and all your food, and you're going to weigh your food. I mean, you have to, I'm not saying you would never, but it's such a hassle. If you told me I can take a picture and it's going to give me an approximate valuation within 80% accuracy, done, sold. If I'm trying to cut calories, cut weight, it's so simple, it's so easy. Anyway, he's clearing 20 million a year, gonna just grow. And he's not swimming against big nutritional products. He's surfing. He's saying, I've got ChatGPT, I've got multimodal capability. Multimodal meaning that AI can watch videos, read text, look at pictures, understand what it's seeing. Really important development that's happened over the past 12 to 18 months is the multimodal capability. But anyway, crushing it. Super cool business idea. Really got myself thinking about what else could I do? If someone takes a picture of something, what could happen? Like, so for example, maybe I'm in the process of moving right now. Take a picture of a room. What would you want? What would I like to put in that room? And then, you team up with Rooms to Go, and Rooms to Go is you can just kind of put their furniture in there. And then people can buy it there or go to the show. So that what can I do with pictures and images? That really got my mind thinking, right? Or I want to go shopping for clothes. Here's a picture of my body, maybe wearing underwear, or my ripped chest out there. What are some different clothes? And I can kind of scan through different clothes. What do I look like? What are some cool things I can do with AI in image generation, in image understanding? You can see my brain is cooking. How about you? Write in the comments. What are you thinking about? And by the way, this is something that I've heard a lot too. And again, I'm going to tell you an idea that I'm working on right now. Is it's one of the problems I think we run into when we're trying to create a new business. We don't want to tell anyone because we have that next $1 billion idea and we don't want anybody to know. We want to keep it secret. And I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I think that that's pretty common. I've never heard anyone say keep your idea secret. It's better to bring people along on the journey as you're building, which is why I'm doing this, because I want people to see the exact process of what I'm going through, how I'm thinking about it, how I'm trying to evolve myself professionally and evolve my business. So I'll talk about that in, again, just a moment. Don't keep it secret. Don't keep it secret. Put it out there and start building. Put it in the comments below. I want to know what you're thinking about building or what your idea is. That's what this is about. It's about ideas. Okay, let me tell you about another just tremendous AI business it's doing. I mean, the owner of it is making about 80 grand, 90 grand in profit right now. And the business is called inTouch.Family. inTouch.Family. And so what this is it's an AI voice caller that calls elderly folk who are in nursing homes and elder care facilities. Because one of the things that happens with these people is, which is going to happen to all of us eventually, is you just don't have many people to talk to and you get lonely. And what do we talk about? We talked about relationships. The last app, by the way, solves the health problem. This solves the relationship problem and health problem, because what happens when you're not having regular interaction with people and you're not talking, having conversation, is your brain starts to go. And it's statistically, it's an early predictor of dementia and other, brain problems. So, well, how do we solve that? Well, they get a call from their AI buddy every day because the kids are either dead or they're gone. They don't have enough time to call them in the morning, which I get, by the way. It's tough to call parents like that all the time. At any rate, they're getting calls from their loved one, from their AI, and it keeps them engaged, keeps them interested, and he's clearing tons of cash. The way he did this was he went to the property management companies for these healthcare facilities and said, you have this problem, we have a solution, everyone you sign up, you're going to get a 10% commission on monthly recurring revenue, MRR. And then so they're like, okay, great, we'll sign people up. He's clearing, 80K a month, and he's paying out a few. Actually, I don't know the exact numbers on that, so I don't want to go into exact numbers of how much he's doing. But he's basically saying you sign someone up, you're going to get 10% in monthly recurring revenue. So that everybody's happy. The people are happy. The person is happy because they're getting engaged. They're having a conversation with someone who actually feels interested in them. B, the management company's happy because it's monthly recurring revenue for doing nothing. And then the business owner is happy because he's just got insane passive income coming in. He just got to keep the store rolling, okay? So it's just an incredible business. So those are two businesses. Again, if you have an idea or a thought, put it in the comments below. I would love to see them. I'd love to give feedback on it. And then I'll give you the third business here. Actually, this is the fifth. This will be the fifth one that I'm talking about here. And this business is something that I'm working on here. So I've been in podcast production and blog writing, SEO, for the past 5, 6, 7 years now. And one of the things that I've noticed is that there's a lot of people that want to have a podcast, they want to have a blog, but they just don't have the time. They don't want to spend the time to do it. And so I'm developing an AI program that essentially, this is going to be hyper focused on realtors, specifically for realtors. So if you're a realtor and you want to have a podcast that nurtures and generates new clients, and you want to have a blog that helps you stand out online and in large language models, you would use this program. You just basically type in what your area is. I want to create a podcast about real estate in Broward County, for example, and it's going to generate, I'll have the exact numbers as I build it out, but it'll generate 10, 20, 30 different podcast ideas. You're going to select the ones you want. It's going to write out the scripts, which you can or just auto approve. You can either approve them manually or auto approve them, and then it'll actually record the podcast. It'll use an AI voice to record the podcast, and then it will upload the podcast directly to your RSS feed. So essentially what it's going to do is the goal is to have it one button, and it's going to push out AI podcast at scale specifically for realtors, and all those podcasts are going to drive traffic back to the realtor's website to get a consultation. And the reason I love this is A, it's using automation, B, it's giving realtors what they want, which is more visibility online, more ways to stand out, more SEO. And then lastly, I like it because it solves the problem of time. Realtors just, they have no time to be launching podcasts. What if you could do it in one button? So that's what I'm working on right now. So these are, and this fits me because I have a lot of notoriety in this space. I've been working in podcasting and blogging and media production for nearly a decade now. And I just have a lot of experience in this space. I understand the space. I've got a lot of connections. I've looked at market cap. So I've kind of done all the things on the front end I wanted to do as far as qualifying the business. And now it's just a matter of executing. So at the end of the day, without going too long, my challenge to you is this. Think about the concepts we spoke about today and start thinking about, well, what would a business idea look like for me? Because again, you can spend a couple hours a night and just start playing with Replit, solving problems, building out software, and you can do some really, really spectacular things. Guys, this is where your wealth is going to come from, because eventually, if you end up losing your job or your job becomes replaced or obsolete, you're going to want to have these skills. This is the way I see it. A, you're going to want to have these skills intact, and B, you're getting a shot. You're giving yourself a shot to solve some insanely big problems and really develop a lot of wealth. This is where I'm at. Where are you at? Are you going to go out and execute? That's up to you. But if you've watched this video up to this point, I think you're on the right track. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one, all right?